All right, guys, and we have a special guest, Joey, all the way from Long Island. Joey, say hello.
Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, guys?
All right, so we're doing a little video today, but first, eat breakfast, guys.
Amen.
Steak and eggs, salad. What'd you get?
Got an omelet, forest mushroom omelet with some potatoes and a tomato, I guess.
All right, we're gonna talk more about collecting, how kind of Joey got started. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Joey came all the way from Long Island. I'm in New York City to visit me here at the Edition, New York. Joey, thanks for coming out. You guys enjoy the video. All right.
Absolutely.
Vintage Magic. Game, collect, invest. For more information about our consulting and professional services, visit vintagemagic.com.
All right, guys, and we're back with Joey, Magic the Gathering collector and player from Long Island, New York. Hi, Joey.
What's going on, guys?
By the way, thanks for breakfast, man. That was very kind of you.
You're very welcome.
All right, so whenever I travel, I like to do some of these interviews here and there. I mean, today's video is all about kind of your story. We talked a little bit about where you started. So, brief background, how'd you get started?
So I would follow the in crowd, basically, and that would be my oldest sister. And she got into sci-fi, fantasy, video games, and then Magic the Gathering. So we would go to this basement area that had a card store. Very popular back in the day. It was the happening place. Large crowds, large tournaments, and she would always attend with her friends. She was in 6th grade, and let's say I was in 2nd grade playing at the time. And I had no idea how to play. I would just collect cards for the artwork. I thought it was pretty badass. It was cool. You know, and you didn't really understand what the mechanics were until someone had to sit down and explain it to you. Got a hold of the game. I'm very competitive by nature. You would say I was a spike at the time if you were going to go with
No Timmy here.
No Timmy's here. Maybe a Johnny at one point.
And you were playing, you were telling me, with Necro decks? Or?
So I was playing, as everyone started, aggro, red, burn, or what is it, Sly. So I would play blue decks and red decks. And so eventually when Necro came into the scene and then got revitalized, I think they played it out for like type 1.5. I don't remember the format at the time, but there was a reemergence of it. And I think Entomb was one of the cards that would go side by side with Necro. So you would have bringing large creatures from the graveyard back into play. And so I collected a whole bunch of different colors. I didn't really stick to one format. I didn't really stick to one type of archetype. So I had quite the collection. And the fun thing to go do at the time was buy a bunch of Inquest magazines, obviously. You'd read all the articles, all the jokes, and learn about the history of Magic, but also look at the pricing. And so you would say, oh, my collection went up this time, and cards would spike depending on the format and the popularity and what the meta was back in the day. And so it was like a fun little game to see how rich you can become. And that was between me and my sister. And ever since then, I was more of a player and assumed that the cards in my collection would always go up. Some went down, like hammers and stuff like that, but that was known. But the ones that did stick, like the fetch lands from Onslaught, those would always go up, and you were just like infatuated by the whole concept.
So your sister was the one that brought you into it?
Yeah, my sister.
Your older sister.
My oldest sister brought
me into that. So that's a rare
women
thing.
do play. Women do play. That's for Rudy out there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so she got you into it. You got these inquests.
Yeah.
And so tell me that story of the time you bought the Grail, the Alpha Black Lotus.
I had quit Magic for a while because once you get into a certain age, you're playing sports, you're focusing on academics, and so in the hindsight of it, my collection just stayed in the closet. Didn't really have a need to sell at that time, nor did I want to. Right. It's all about reflecting and going to the memories of it, because as a family, a big family, all you do is just talk about stories and memories, and so it was a centerpiece to bring that up. So then I got back into it once I saw the man right in front of me on YouTube, and I was like, holy cow, like I didn't think beta and alpha was attainable. I didn't think people would talk about it. I just remember going on Instagram, and this is an old account, but he's still around. It's Old School Magic MTG, and he posts these amazing, I guess, articles or just photos on IG at the time when it came to popularity of old school cards. And Dan was there preaching about old school cards and actually putting a face to the names of artists behind the scenes. And
So you were watching the videos when I first started the videos?
first started.
Oh, wow.
I was on YouTube probably in 2006.
Right.
Just watching like
This is before
dumb
Rudy.
shit.
Yeah, I remember
exactly.
this.
Way before Rudy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God, like this is my bread and butter.
Right.
And he's talking about like 9.5s being like $1,000. That was like mind-boggling. I'm like, let me go back in my collection, see what I got.
Right.
Obviously, I didn't have any alpha or beta because that wasn't attainable at the time. Because beta was like maybe $50 a card, and you didn't want to play with that because there was no sense in buying it or playing with it.
Right.
It was more of a collectible, and I was like, okay, I'm in for the game, not so much a collector of the old school. But anyway, so eventually I was brought into Comicon, walking about.
The New York one.
The New York Comicon.
Okay.
Shout out to everyone born and raised in Queens, New York, or anywhere in New York City.
All right, cool.
So we were walking down, and I noticed 2 Alpha Black Lotuses under a display case, side by side.
And this was This was
2013.
Okay, Comicon.
So I had some
wow.
pre-recognition of the prices and how expensive these cards can appreciate too. And so I was with my sister, and we were looking at cards, and there were 2 Alpha Black Lotuses. One was moderately played. The other one was a light play condition, let's say. There is some edge wear on the light play, but very minor to deem it light play. One was 3,800. The other one was 5,100. And so the lady behind the booth was saying, "Would you like to see him and hold them for a photo?" I'm like, yeah, of course. This is I never thought I'd imagine the day I'd meet Daniel Chang in person, let alone hold up an Alpha Black Lotus.
All right.
So I did, and she was like, "Would you like to buy it? Are you interested in a car?" And I was like fathomed by it, and obviously I had the money to do so because Lord and behold, I am a proud owner of a light play Alpha Black Lotus. And so I settled for that one.
So why'd you choose that? Then what made you convinced to get the MP?
Because I always collect near mint. So everything in my collection, I'm very picky about the condition of cards in my collection, let alone sealed product as well. And I think everyone does that.
Got it.
Because I went into this hobby as a collector and then switched over to an investor, knowing that people want the best of the best.
Got it.
And so the liquidity of it depends on the condition of it, and so people are always reaching out for the utmost pristine copy, and so you don't want to be stuck with a card you couldn't sell that was in not so great shape.
So in your early 20s, you had this mindset of condition and everything.
Let alone no financial literacy in this family. So ask my sisters, and they would be like, "This is the dumbest move we ever made," but at the same time, we were all fans of the hobby because that's what we did when we were younger.
And how'd you get your money, by the way? I mean, that's a lot of money for a 20-year-old kid.
I saved up about $33,000 just doing research labs. I was
what are you studying again?
So I went to college for biomedical engineering. I did a lot of lab work for stipends, but also hourly wages. And also, I did study abroad. I got $7,500. Went to college for free, but CUNYs instead of privates, right? So that's always a plus. Everything gets paid for. You don't have a loan at the end of it, which is great. And so you save a lot of money. And my mom always told me to save money. She didn't know how to spend it, but she always told you to save it. And so with that recognition, you'd always save and not spend recklessly.
And you were telling me also you were collecting non-registered assets.
Yes.
Not just Magic. So what else did you invest in back in the day? What are some of the things that you did that are maybe kind of weird, but
I started out, believe it or not, going into like the wee ends of it because I wanted to know what was out there. Right. So you always had a curiosity. I was led by curiosity instead of researching. So I would buy things just to see what they were like in person. So Garbage Pail Kid stickers, cards, weird odds and end items. Not anything too grotesque, anything that actually had eye appeal to it. Like the old school Wyvern boxes. Yep. I bought like a box just to crack open, see how it was like, because that was a thing that you would turn the page on Inquest magazine or Scry magazine and see.
How about Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, any of those?
So Yu-Gi-Oh, I actually played a bit of it back in 6th grade. So this was like years ago. And I just started with like the original tin decks. I didn't really go into the expansions after the TV series came to a halt. Pokemon, I did have a bit of the holos, but on the base set only, and that's when I completely absolved all my Pokemon cards. Only because I knew, knowing the different TCGs out there, that the only one that would have a true following would be either Yu-Gi-Oh! And that was inspired by the TV series that brought stardom to the actual card game. And so it actually had like a one-to-one connection, unlike Pokemon, because people wanted to play the video games. That's how it came to America, with the video games, and also then the animated TV series. But Magic always had its roots in the actual hobby of a card game.
Interesting.
So
well, by the way, guys, we're going to do a video after this about
yes.
his take, and we'll just say this.
It's a hot take.
Okay, what's your hot take? Say it right now, and then we'll do it later, the whole video.
I think Pokemon cards are going to be absolutely worthless.
Dog shit.
Dog shit.
Wow. That's going to be a good video. You're going to get some trolling, but people are going to want to know why. We're gonna want to know why.
Yes.
All right, guys. So So what do we got today? What'd you bring for us?
Okay, so we'll start with this.
All right.
Yep.
This is a frame.
It's a frame, and then
right.
you got to turn the frame over.
Well, let's do it.
Are you recording?
I'm recording the whole time.
You might know this one. I don't know.
Oh, holy moly! Here, flip it so I can see it.
Okay.
I can't see it right. Oh, wow.
So this was painted by the one and only RK Post.
Yep.
One of my favorite, if not my favorite, MTG artists. And
incredible line work on RK.
yeah,
Just the quality.
yeah.
What is it?
So back in the day, before Dungeons and Dragons had its stardom, it started out with a company called TSR, I believe, or TRS, one of those.
TSR, yep.
TSR. And so they commissioned different artists to paint some of the artwork for some of the characters back in the day, because they had a book that you would follow to actually play the actual board game.
Huh.
And so RK was commissioned, I believe this is a priest. And so in the 1996 Advanced Dungeons and Dragons book, this was a full page artwork of the priest character, and by definition. So I don't know if you know a gentleman named Daniel Folks.
Don't know him.
Don't know him. Okay. He put this on auction on the Facebook art marketplace group, and so I was like, "This is insane."
Got recently?
No, this was years ago.
Okay.
And so I was like, not only is he my favorite artist, this is his original, like, came to stardom artwork piece right in front of me, and just it was beautiful.
Oh, this is how RK started.
This is how RK started. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is like
Wow.
unreal to me, because he's one of the greats that I think ever came to the whole sci-fi genre of artwork, and his art is so recognizable that it's hard to have a style where you can just recognize the artwork and the artist and associate those two in tandem. So only Therese Nielsen has that touch, Rebecca Gay, and several other artists that are.
It's crazy how their artists. You're right. It just pops out.
Yeah,
like you know that's Rebecca Gay right there. That's Therese Nielsen.
Yep. It's sort of like with cars.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the designers for certain brand cars have their touch. You always know, like, down their product line, even from a 10-year span, that it's always that brand, make, model car. And so I just love his art. I grew up in that era, in the Mercadian Mass, Urza Saga era of Magic the Gathering, and I was just infatuated by his art style. And so I would collect his cards. I never bought any artist proofs. I never purchased any art back in the day, because I figured you might as well get the best thing, which is the card itself. Right. And those are the ones that are being price charted on Inquest magazine. So not only was I buying for enjoyment, I was buying just to see if I can outwin my sister in total.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, let's do this. I'm going to do a couple parts to this video. There's going to be a lot of information. Yeah. The next part, we're going to talk more about Joey's kind of thoughts on Magic investing. He has some good thoughts. So you guys stay tuned to the next video. I'll put the link below, hopefully, the next video. And Joey, thanks for this one. This is great, how you got started. Yeah. This is awesome. Thanks, guys. Hey
Hey everyone, it's Daniel Chang with VintageMagic.com. In this video, I want to run through our consultation service on VintageMagic.com. So what's really exciting to me about the consultation process is meeting you. I've met so many incredible people in the Magic the Gathering industry all over the world, and this consultation process is the key part to a successful working relationship. Getting hold of me is very simple. You could call or email me. We'll talk more about your needs. From all that information I gather in our call, typically about an hour long, I'm going to determine the best solution for you. So because we have such a suite of services that we offer, I'm going to sit down with a follow-up call, and then we're going to go off and determine what the best path is. I have experience in handling conversations in regards to large collections of artwork, sets of cards, either if it's graded or ungraded, raw cards. I also have dealt with collections with lots of misprints and oddities. Altered cards, sketch cards, and artist proofs are also one of my specialties. My experience in Magic Gathering has gone to any level of collecting you may have. I look forward to working with you.
Vintage Magic. Game, collect, invest. For more information about our consulting and professional services, visit vintagemagic.com.